Today is a very unique bottom to top challenge. We take over 6th tier German club Basara Mainz, a club with a very heavy Japanese influence, as we aim to get them to the Bundesliga and one day have a fully Japanese squad. So strap in folks, because this could be the hardest challenge I've ever done. When you look at the squad it looks okay initially, but when you have a closer look you'll notice I've only got 3 senior confirmed players. So we can't even think about doing a tactic yet because I've got 3 players, one of which is a goalkeeper, so I'm going to have to start recruiting straight away. But like I said in the intro, the overall goal of this is to get a fully Japanese squad. It doesn't mean I'm going to limit myself to signing just Japanese players initially, but as we get further through and more Japanese players become available, that's when they're going to take over. But for now, I just need to get some sort of squad together, and I've got a bit of a problem. As we get going through this journey, I can't recommend enough going to the Basara Mainz website and checking out the About Us section. It gives an amazing background on where this club came from. This is where you'll find out all about Shinji Okazaki, who started the club and was manager until I turned up. So it all started from Okazaki meeting Takeshi Yamashita, the president of Mainz, with a little goal to develop Japanese football via Germany. But as you'll notice, there's not many Japanese footballers at top levels around European football, so that's where Okazaki came in, suggesting to get this club basically to develop Japanese footballers. Now they've done really well. They started in the 11th tier and they've had 5 successive promotions, but now it gets a bit tougher in this league as only 1 goes up. Yeah, this is going to be tough, and then when you get up, there's a long way to go to our ultimate goal of getting this club to the Bundesliga. You can see they've kind of stalled at this level, the Südwest. That's where they were stuck at the minute. It really is a nice story, and even the colours of the club are all born from their time at their high school in Japan. And the Basara in the Mainz name, that simply means diamond. So that's the mission: take this club, get them back to the Bundesliga, and fill the squad with Japanese footballers. That's the niceness out the way. The hard part starts now, because we've got a full season here to try and win this league. And unfortunately for us, we're down at 50-1, but look closely at the odds. Everybody is 50-1 other than one team who are 91-1 on. This is SC Ida Oberstein, and when you look at their key player, it's not hard to see why they're favourites. This is Kevin Kraus, and his value is top line 500,000. Compare that to my key player Felix Palent, our goalkeeper. So yeah, a bit of a mission. First things first, let's get some professionals into this club. The type of players we're going to attract are going to be pretty poor looking like this. Anything with a double figure attribute is a massive result, but as you can see, Tobias is wanted by 437 clubs. Our best bet here is anybody who's wanted, just leave them alone, because they're literally, look at that, 394 clubs. Only 2 clubs want Florian Jäger. I don't know why, because he's bloody excellent. I'm going to see what we can offer. Youngster, it's probably going to be amateur contracts, you know. Let's have a little look. Yeah, amateur contracts, so we'll try. At this stage, there's not going to be a load of Japanese players around, but I'm going to create my recruitment focus and just get it set there ready. Obviously, at our level, we're not going to be able to send scouts to Japanese football and such things, but we're just going to keep an eye on nationality, drop it down to Japan, and then we're just going to keep that locked and loaded in there. You never know, at some point, this might fill up. But for the time being, it's just a case of trying to bulk this squad up with any players we can get. Because the season blooming starts in 6 days. Let's go. We do have 1 Japanese player at the club. This is Yuya Okuda. He's 32. He's going to have to be the linchpin of the team. With so many players needed in such a short period of time, I've also got my director of football on the job as well. We've just got to get players in. So shockingly, we've got to play our first game now, and I've got 5 senior players, one of which is a 15-year-old that I've just signed. But I can't play him. Below the minimum age competition for this competition, so wonderful. So I have 2 goalkeepers, I'll put 1 in. I've got 1 centre back, and I've got my boy Yuya here, who's injured, but he's going to have to play. So he's going to go in midfield. I mean, what do you do after that? What do you do? So I'm guessing most teams are as bad as us, because somehow, somewhere, we won our first match 2-0 thanks to our boy Okuda. But as you can see, we've got 1 more friendly in 3 days' time, and then it's full on with the season. I do have an absolute truckload of pending transfers in. I'm now not even bothered about the amount of teams after these players. I'm just going for them and hoping that they choose us first. I'm even going to try and steal players who've already got a club. This player's at ASC Dortmund, but yeah, come to the bright side. With a day to go before our next fixture, the free transfers started to jump into the club. All these players are now in the squad and we've got loads more to do. But it does mean it looks a bit better now. Unsurprisingly, a wide wing play fluid counter-attack style is recommended, and this ragtag bunch of players we'd put together absolutely opened up and smashed our opponents for 6. Which meant somehow we'd won 2 out of 2. Let's see how long this can last. I've got more players ready to come in as well. And striker Puzelowski is the new hero, bagging a debut hat-trick. And things might be getting even better as I've just signed scary-looking Mazia Namavidza. Don't make me say that again. Players kept coming in. I reckon Mikael Nak here was decent for this level. He's got quite a lot of double-figure attributes. Season 1, I'm going for a take on the Willem hoofball tactic with a lot of key changes to player roles just to help out the quality of player that we've got. Just made yet another signing. This is Mark Klein. He's 35. Why am I pointing him out? Because it seems we are his first club at 35. He's quit his job as a hairdresser. He wants to go at football, and I'm all for it. We've had some thumping results and we're absolutely smashing teams. Like some really big wins. This incredible signing spree of amateur players, throwing them into this direct 4-4-2, has got our boys Bazara top of the league by 5 clear points. We've scored a whopping 54 times in that as well. Honestly, this is going bizarrely well. I think it's just the fact that we've got that many players in that all the other teams have not done so because this is an extended database. We'll weigh down the levels. We did lose our keeper Felix though. He's gone to get paid. He's getting £120 a week, so I can't really deny him that because everybody else in this squad is getting nothing. But we are top. It's the halfway point of the season. If we can keep this up, we'll make our next step up. And the next step up is this, the Liga. There's a couple of divisions of it, I think, but that's the next level we get to. And you can see it's another traditional league, but it looks like there's going to be 2 spots up for grabs for promotion there. But first things first, let's get this team promoted, and hopefully none of these amateur boys who are playing for free don't leave us. Disappointment in the cup as we get knocked out by what I presume is local rivals in Shop Mines. No disappointment in the league though as we blaze through it, and this 5-goal win late in the season, followed by a home draw, gets us over the line, losing just 1 match and with the best defence in the league. So part 1 is ticked off. We've got ourselves out of this league that they've been stuck in for like 6 seasons. You can see the chemistry that built up. Okoda, our Japanese player, played nearly every match, 7 goals, 7 assists. And that's good because he's also my assistant manager. So he's got 2 jobs, so he needs to perform. And you'll notice the squad's got a little bit shorter. This level's wild because if you look at the transfer history, a boatload of players came in. I've never bought that many players in one sitting, but because they're on amateur contracts, if they don't like it, they just take off. So this guy, Frank Munu, played 4 games for us, decided to jump over to this other team. That's always the thing with amateur contracts. They can come and go as they please. But thankfully, Tim Puzelowski stayed with us despite loads of interest in him because he ended up with 23 goals. So we'll probably keep him going up into the next division. In fact, we'll probably keep most of the players because they all did a pretty decent job. But I'm guessing the jump up is going to be quite a big one. So let's just wait and see. But with success comes a little bit of money, and we've got a massive sum of 5,000 in the wage budget now. And we're probably going to have to use it because we'll need a little bit better quality player with some of those attributes. I need to creep up into the double figures, such as this player, Jan Bach. Let's see how we do. Now we've moved up a division, our scoring range is extended to the Oberliga, and I've just added a filter. Check this out. So I've added in Japanese players, and as you can see, we've got about a page full. So about a page full of Japanese players that are available. Some have got a cost, so we won't be able to get them. But some, like this man, Kawanishi, is available, having been released by his team in Japan. So we're going to start slowly attempting to bring some Japanese footballers in to give them a chance in German football. Some of the slightly better players who are commanding a fee and are on a big wage, such as Kaito Anzai here, we won't make a move for them yet. That's unrealistic. He's actually played a bit of football, look, in Portuguese football, but we're going to add him to the shortlist and start building that up. Of all the players I've seen so far, Shori Murata, 31-year-old central midfielder, looks to be a standout. Good passing, some good vision, a good first touch, good technical player. And he could be the first one we actually pay a wage to. He wants £275 a week for 12 months. I'm going to do it. Most of the other Japanese footballers just want a chance over here, so they're willing to take an amateur contract. Deep into pre-season, it's fair to say the Japanese revolution has begun. 9 Japanese players all jump into the club. Of those players, I would expect Ishii to start up front and probably Tomoya Ito to play down the left-hand side. I said it would take a little while, didn't I? But we are starting to bring them in now. You can see we've got lots of different nationalities going on, but the bulk are now Japanese and German players. So a lot of them may be squad players. But this is how we start this revolution. I do expect these 2 to start, to be honest, if this formation holds up in the higher league. Because looking at it, pre-season odds, those signings that we've made mean we are quite fancied at 9-2. There is, again, another outlier at 1-91. The amazingly named Wamashia Worms. Worms? Either way, brilliant. You see, their key player is Luca Jensen, but I don't think he's that much better than what we've got, so I think we've got a slight chance here. Having brought those players in, I would like to get some other players in that have experience at this level, because none of my team do. Just looking down here, you can see we've got shortlisted another Japanese player in Merita. He's going to be class, but we can't afford him. In pre-season, some of the Japanese signings started to look good. I gave them a bit of game time to settle into the club, and also added a couple more in. We continued to sign players because players can come and go at this level like crazy. However, I did sign this man to a contract, so he's stuck with us for 2 years. It means now I've built my squad to be over 40 players, all ready to assault this season and hopefully get into that top 2. We started the season well, and in fact our unbeaten run, stretching back to last season, went to 20 matches. But we did play the pre-season favourites early, and they proved why they are the pre-season favourites. Despite that, we are sitting in 3rd place, so we are still in with a shout. First place gets promoted to the Regional Liga. That might be out of the question with the form of the team in first place, so we might be looking for the 2nd place, the promotion stage. Following that defeat, we went on a bit of a sticky run. The worst spell of form we've had since we joined the club, but we've turned things around again. Early season rivals for that 2nd promotion spot, Mechtersheim, were on the receiving end of a big 5-goal win for us, and in this match, assistant manager Akoda took over penalty duties. As we go into the mid-season break, we're actually doing pretty well. We're sitting in 3rd, and more importantly, the team at the top of the table, Worms, they're not getting away from us either. They're only 4 points clear. So things are going well, but as you can see from the gaps in the team, we've lost a couple of players of my first choice team. Thanks to this amazing amateurness, you can see the amateur level players, they come, they go. Loads of players have left us now, there's about 6 or 8 players have left. So some of the Japanese players are getting more game time than I thought they were going to get. Makoto Kawanishi has played a lot of the games at centre back. That's despite him being terrible in the air. But I'm not exactly spoilt for choice at centre back. Now the other Japanese players that have played quite a lot is Yuri Backhaus. That's really not the most Japanese sounding name, is it? I'm guessing he's got German roots. Yeah, he does. He's played quite a lot of the games in at right back. Most of the other players, to be honest, have been squad players, but that's totally fine at this stage. Now I haven't changed the tactic up at all. I'm going to keep it. There's absolutely no need to change it because sitting 3rd, pretty much where we should be. Now we'll look at our goal difference though. It's plus 24. We've scored 43 times in them 18 matches, so we're going over 2 a match, and we've got a really good defensive record. So we've just been a bit unlucky. If you look at the XG table, we should be a place higher. So I've got good vibes about us getting promoted straight away here. We've even got a tiny transfer budget of 2,000 and there's still a little bit of wage budget left, so I might get someone in during this winter break just to push us over that line. I don't think I'm going to be able to afford him, but Hiro Komori, who's just been playing at a decent level in Belgium, is available. You can see there he's been playing the Erstklasse on loan, so can we get him in? And the good news is, yes. So I'm going to keep bulking out this squad with players because the turnover is still going to be huge with this amateur level, and I'm determined to get this team up. A massive 97th minute winner against Worms set us on an unreal run. In fact, we've only lost 1 match since the winter break. With 3 games to go, it's all to play for. 1 point in it between ourselves and Worms. But fast forward a short while and Worms win all their matches, so we can't catch them. We've got 1 left, but we're definitely in this playoff position. So we finished the season 2nd. We're into this little group thing here. It's a little group, a promotion group with Freiburg, 2nd team, and Alzenor. I'm guessing you've just got to win and get through because the schedule shows we've only got 2 matches. Season overall was great. We lost the least matches in the league. We just drew too many, and Worms just got away from us. But pre-season odds dropped us down to 7th eventually, so we've done really well. Tactically, I've cleared players out. Some players like Krasic is a starter every match. 10 goals, 10 assists from that left-hand side. And equally, the other winger has 14 assists. So they are the backbone of this team. It's a new combination up front of a pressing forward on defend with a poacher. We may need to go a little bit more attacking with this to make sure we get these wins. But into the playoffs we go. Let's go. Against Freiburg's 2nd team, we just about got through it 2-1, but I'm convinced they put some ringers in from the first team because that was tough. That means if we win our next match against Alzenor, who also call themselves FC Bayern Alzenor, we will be promoted. Okay, here we go. They're on good form with a 4-4-2. That's a bit of a worry. We've just got ourselves back in form after a few too many draws. We've got a few of the Japanese boys starting this one as well. Fingers crossed. Yeah, we've started well. A couple of set pieces. Not the biggest away support, I won't lie to you. But big win there in the header. There's a Kodu to Komori, the 2 Japanese players linking up. Big chance coming maybe. So a draw might be enough here, but we need to guarantee it by getting a victory. And they've just come back into it a little bit, the opposition. This is our first attack in a little while. You can see the wide play that we're playing. Komori, big chance for the Japanese lad. But if you look at the match momentum, it's pretty 50-50 at the minute, isn't it? Another chance coming in now for us. 30 minutes gone. Could this be the one? Not this time, and it could be a counter-attack. Indeed, it was a counter-attack as they take the lead. It's an absolute disaster, but a superb finish. With half-time approaching, my players have completely lost their heads now. And they're getting passed around like crazy, and it brought about a second goal. Half-time 2-0, 2 shots, both have gone in. In the second half, we fired back, and Kamori levelled it up for us 2-2. Now we just got to hope that Freiburg win. Our prayers were answered as Freiburg's second team defeat them, which means we get promoted and we're going up. So 2 successive promotions, but I've got a feeling it's going to get a lot tougher going into the next season. So season 3 in the Regional Liga Südwest. I think this one's going to be really tough. If I look at the table there, 4 go down, only 1 goes up. Super harsh. And as you can see from the season preview, we are favourites to get relegated at 200 to 1. Odds on favourites massively at Eintracht Frankfurt B team. There's a few B teams in here, Frankfurt, Kaiserslautern, Mainz. This is really tough, and to get out of the league as champions of this is going to be brutal. You can't see us doing it season 1. We have made some moves, but not many. The pick out is probably this guy, Ferdinand Paul, centre back, but as you can see from his technicals, he's absolutely horrible on the ball, so he's definitely going to have to be our no-nonsense centre-back, because that's what he is. We've lost a couple of the Japanese boys. Their contracts have run out and they've left us, so we've still got a clutch of them, a good amount, mostly a German and Japanese squad now. Pre-season has been up and down. We've won 2, lost 2, but the game we lost against Magdeburg, they are in the 2nd division, so that's not too bad. So we're going to stick with the day 1 formation. We won't change it yet until we find out if this league is far better in quality and we start to struggle. I was feeling quite positive after the first game of the season when we drew 0-0, but then things started to go wrong. We lose 3-0 to Steinbach and 2-1 to Barakstadt. Chucking this defeat to Stuttgarter Kickers, that's 1 point from our first 4 matches. So tactically, I decided to make a change before it was too late, and we've ended up using this one. So it's a 4-4-2, we've got a couple of defensive midfielders, deep line forward, poacher combination. Viewers of this channel will be familiar. This is a shape that I do like to use. And it paid dividends straight away, surprisingly, against Kaiserslautern's second team. That big win was followed by another, a 5-0 win at Stade Tallendorf and 4-1 at home again. In fact, that change in formation has just helped us out a bit. Despite a sticky period in November, we're doing okay. So we've bounced back well. It's propelled us up to 7th in the league. If this was a normal league with playoff situations, we'd be just about there. But as you can see, Eintracht Frankfurt's second team have not lost a match. They've got 54 points. They're out of sight. This is going to be really hard to get out of this league. And this, folks, is why. This is their key player. This is the type of level they're at. Kang Sang-yoon, South Korean. His value is between 4 and 8.4 million. At this level, that is ridiculous. Let's say my key player is Tim Pusalowski, the goal scorer. He scored 14 in 20. You can see the difference. His value is 0 to 65k. I'm happy with the setup. The setup's fine. We've got a defensive winger down one side, an inverted winger on the other, and a couple of decent forwards that rotate around. Pusalowski stays all the time. Bench is full of Japanese players, just filling in the squads for now till we get a higher quality that can jump into the first 11. The issue's going to be, how do we somehow get into a position where we can challenge first place? It's not going to be this season, is it? We've only got maybe 16, 17 matches left and Frankfurt are just away. But at least we're 15 points clear of relegation, so we can stabilise this season. As far as recruitment goes, I think the way to go will be like we did with Ferdinand here. His former club was Bayer Leverkusen, so let's keep an eye on youngsters getting released by the big boys and see if we can pick them up. So we end up the season in 10th. Second half of the season was very up and down. We ended pretty badly, to be fair. And we're a massive 34 points behind eventual champions Eintracht Frankfurt's second team. With the way this structure is set up, I think we could be stuck in this division for quite some time. And this proved to be the case, as despite signing a load of players and trying a couple of different versions of our original tactic, and starting well in Season 4 by being 6th after 14 matches, things did take a turn and we fell away a little bit. A very respectable finish though in 8th position, but still nearly 20 points behind eventual champions Freiburg's second team. That led me into Season 5 and again horrible pre-season predictions of 150 to 1 and rock bottom. The squad was bulking out and I was just about managing to keep hold of my Japanese players. I reverted to a 4-2-4. The players you see there, the ones that are going to start every match. We are managing to get a higher quality of player with Manzo Uro Tagbar coming in. He's definitely got more double figure attributes, so he's going to help. But my keeper's still an absolute shambles. But this season we showed up and we put our best effort in yet. That big Derby Day win against Mainz second team was brought to us by yet another tactic variation. And flipping between the traditional 4-2-4 and that mess meant we were flying. In fact, with just a couple of games left in the season, it's actually on. We are top of the league by 3 points, and remember, only one team are going to get promoted here. Games like this were commonplace. 6-4, we dominate, but we concede an absolute shed load. So with 3 games left, we've got to play second place Mainz and third place Grossespach. A defeat to Mainz, not good, but a big victory in our next match. And then in the title decider, we came up clutch big time. We scored 6 in a thumping away victory. After 3 seasons, we finally get promoted as champions by 2 points. And this is where it gets interesting. First off, I was told that we were going professional, so no more amateur players. Then I was given a budget with a bigger wage budget. And then with our promotion confirmed, I quickly realised that these were all regional leagues and we're actually going to be in the Free Liga next season. So we are in the Free Liga, and I thought we were going to have to go a little bit further up the ladder. So I am massively relieved. Now, as you can see from the squad, we've still got a good clutch of Japanese players, but there's more to come. By end of this, we've got to get this squad fully Japanese, but it's been really hard down at the amateur levels. If you give this a go, you'll see for yourself. So this is what we're up against now. We have just done this, and funnily enough, 1860, my beloved 1860, are still in this league, and we're going to take inspiration from that save. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it was this video here where we took charge of 2 German clubs and we managed to get them to the Bundesliga. Now, 1860 were one of those, and we did use like a 4-2-4 to get them up, so we might use that. But we also have the Ingolstadt version, which was a possession-based game, so we've got a couple of options. But using this extended database, when I was down here in these leagues, I didn't realise, and I probably should have, looking at the name of them, that these are all regional leagues, so each team gets promoted. So that's why, when you come to the Liga 3 here, 4 go down. So we need to be careful there, because first season, I think our pre-season odds, not too bad, but if you look at it a bit closer, all the second teams aren't rated, so we are actually favourites to get relegated by a massive amount at 200 to 1. So far, I've only brought 1 player in. It's probably our best Japanese player yet in Shunsuke Yamamoto. He comes in from Japanese football. He's going to play up front. He's got a bit about him, hasn't he? Not the greatest pace, but dribbling's good. He's got good first touch. He's a good technical player. So I will find a position for him shortly. You can see I've got quite a few Japanese players spread about there. I don't know if they'll all start. When we get to higher leagues, we're going to make them start. But at the minute, I'd probably say 3 or 4 will start. The problem is we are at this higher level, but the transfer budget is still 0. And the wage budget is 70 quid a week, which is about what I make off YouTube. And that's because by turning professional, we've actually put ourselves in the mud by 500,000. This is one of the toughest challenges I've ever done. Now, the only shining light here is the Free Liga. You've got 3 chances to get up. You've got automatic, and then you've got second and third. So once we've got a decent squad, it's going to be easier in theory than the last league we were in. We've actually had a really good pre-season, and the new Japanese players are settling in really well. So I'm going to go in with the 1860 tactic that I used first season with them. It seems to be pretty well suited to this level. Good pre-season overall. The only defeat was to the Grafschap, who are in the Eredivisie, so that's absolutely fine. And a good confidence booster there against Union Hetois with a couple of hat-tricks going on. So fingers crossed we'll have a decent season. So our first season at this level, and it started absolutely devastating. Other than a cup win against a team lower down, we've lost every match. So the plan to play the 1860 formation is out the window. They just can't deal with it. So we changed things up a little bit, and it has helped. We even got a win against 1860. It's still a basic 4-4-2, but you've got an inside forward as well to make it a bit of a 4-3-3. And we're sitting in 16th place, just above the relegation spot. It is super, super tight. We are picking up the odd win, and this one against Bayern's second team could be absolutely crucial. However, we have dropped down a place into the relegation zone with only a few matches left to go. This is going to be stupidly tight. We then got an absolutely crucial away win in injury time against Hoffenheim, thanks to Shunsuke Yamamoto. We're actually on our best run of the season now. Late in the day, we've just won 3-0 against another team that are struggling, Wehrhahn Wiesbaden. But then we got beaten by Essen, so we've got 1 game left. And as it stands, we are 1 point clear with 1 game to go. Now, the biggest hope here is all the teams beneath us also lose. But interestingly, in this league, you can see that 6th place there, they would get a playoff spot because Dortmund, second team, are champions. They can't go up. Freiburg, 3rd place, can't go up. Bayern can't go up. So if we can survive this season and make up the points, we don't have to necessarily finish top. We can finish as low as 6th if it continues like this next season. But first, we need to survive. And we'll be playing Meppen. Meppen are sitting in 11th. Mid-table team. Here goes everything. So this was the game against Meppen at home. They went down to 10 men, but they still completely dominated us. This is not good. But amazingly, all the other teams didn't win either, and we survive on goal difference, which is super rare for us because we conceded less than Lot. So we actually survived thanks to our defence, and I did not expect that. An absolute brute of a season. I never want to see that again. We won 11 matches, which is quite good for a newly promoted team, but by only drawing 5 and losing 22, it made it really, really tight. But next season, we really need to target 6th place. The problem is, when a team like Dortmund's second team are playing a player like Jona Kusi Asari, it's going to be tough. First, the good news. Going into the next season, there are 7 second teams in the league, which kind of means that we've got a mini league of 13 to try and get promoted. The bad news, we're 200 to 1 yet again. I need to get busy in this transfer market because our squad is just not good enough. I'm going to persist with the 4-2-4 because I know it does well in this league thanks to 1860. We just needed better players, and I think we've got that now. We've got a load of players in, a lot of them released by bigger teams. And I went round and got them from bigger clubs, like this player used to be at FC Bayern, Joel Biber, and as you can see, he's been electric for us, scoring 20 times already. And that's led overall to a pretty good season and puts us in a really interesting spot. And that means we are currently sat 6th and highlighted, ready for a playoff place because 3 of the teams above us are all bigger teams, second teams, and they can't get promoted. Okay, this tiny club from Mainz are now on the brink of history. Everything is within grasp. This loss to Freiburg didn't help, but we've just bagged a 96th minute winner over my old friends Ingolstadt. And that means with 1 game to go, we are on the brink of automatic promotion, thanks to Dortmund, Bayern and Freiburg all being high in the league. Dresden are already up. Our last game? 1860. You couldn't write it. You might have also seen that we won the cup, the Südwest Pokal. We beat Pirmasens 3-1. Final match of the season, 1860 München. Krasic, lovely through ball. It is drilled in. A tight 1-0 victory, but we take it regardless. And that means we finish in 4th place but get automatic promotion thanks to these balmy league rules. Next season we'll be in the 2nd division in Germany, 1 step off our goal. However, we've still got a long way to go because I need to bulk this squad out with Japanese players. And next season's transfer budget is absolutely pathetic. Off-season time, we're in the 2nd division in Germany now. That league helped us out big time with all the second strength teams, all the second clubs from big teams, so we go up automatic in 4th. Now, we've tried to bring Japanese players in, but because of the amateur status of a lot of them, they've came and gone. We are building now. We've got a few, but the overall goal of this was to fill this squad with it, but to get up from these lower leagues has been really tough, so I've had to bring in other players. But as we get higher up now, and we can explore the Japanese leagues with better scouting, we'll start to crank it up. Fast forward a few weeks, we're now in the 2nd division. I know what you're waiting for, the season preview, and I'm not looking forward to this because I've done no transfer business yet. Season preview tells us it's our worst yet at 500 to 1. I mean, when you have a little look around at some of the players here, just look at the values. I'm just clicking on random players here. 10.5 million there, 3.5 million, 8 million, 40 million. Are you having a laugh? And we go back to my team, my key player, Mehmet Akgul, 250,000. And for this 500 to 1 mission, my board have given us a massive sum of £4,000 to spend on players and £5,000 to spend on wage budget. But least I've noticed, thanks to getting in some Japanese staff, that some of the players getting recommended to me now are Japanese, such as Moriyama here. He'd be great, but he's way out of our price budget. So seeing that 500 to 1, it was pretty clear I needed to make some signings, and that's what we've done. I picked up Fabian Germundstad, a Norwegian, and a bit of experience in the likes of Till Schumacher, but I wasn't able to land an absolute game changer. Despite that though, in our first game in the Bundesliga 2, we only went and won. That massive win gave us huge hope. However, we haven't won since then, and it's been a bit rocky. It's pretty clear this squad is going to have a right battle to stay in this league. Fast forward to February, and we are where we thought we might be, down in 16th. But the good news is that we're not too far off the teams above. But the board obviously expect us to go down because they never gave us any money in January, so the squad remains the same. I've got to say though, despite all the odds, in the second half of the season, we put up a hell of a fight. Joel Justin Bieber has been a standout performer for us. He's scored 15 times so far, and in fact that puts him as joint top scorer in the league. That despite us sitting in 17th place with 1 game to go. So the mad thing about this is you can see the second half of the season, we've only lost 2 games since February, but we've drew so many, but we've definitely improved. Because look at the first half of this season, we were cannon fodder. So we made big changes. Now, as you can see, this is the formations used in the last 50 matches. So it goes into a bit of last season as well, but that was basically just the 4-2-4 last season. All these down here, 4-2-2, 4-3-3, 4-2-4, 5-2. You can see the variety of formations I was trying to try and get some sort of result. Now, this philosophy is not recommended. As I pause it there, this game here, you wouldn't know it by the way the team's shaped up, but this is the game that we played 6 men out wide, so 2 fullbacks, 2 out wide, 2 inside forwards, and somehow it gave us a 1-0 win. As it settles in there, you can pretty much see it. The overload on the left-hand side. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I was getting desperate, but thankfully it worked in this match, but I wouldn't recommend that approach. But it does mean that we have a sliver of a chance. Now, we've got Paderborn, who are doing pretty well, I think, where they are. Yeah, they're 6th in the league, so this is pretty tough. So St. Paul are pretty much out of it. It's between ourselves, Nuremberg, Dresden, and Hamburg could probably get clawed into it as well. So welcome to the last game of Season 8. It's a relegation decider, and if you're going to have a decider like this, you might as well make it absolutely epic. Early on, it was looking really good, because we raced into a 2-0 lead after just 18 minutes. However, we've had problems at set pieces all season. Now, Paderborn put up a hell of a fight, and they'd managed to score 3 as well. But thanks to Joel Justin Bieber, we blitzed them with 5 goals. Probably our best performance of the season. So we've done our part, but what about the other teams? Well, in an absolutely balmy last day of the season, Nuremberg lost, dropped to the bottom of the table. St. Pauli won, went into the playoffs. Dresden also lost. They dropped to 17th, and our win propels us to 14th as we survive. That, my friends, was hella tough, but what a result. This is so tough. Now, that season we had no right to survive. I played this one the most, this tactic here, 4-2-4. But like I showed you before, I've gone through so many formations. In the second half of the season, we just scavenged enough points together to keep us in this division. Now, if I look at it though, you can see how close it was. I mean, that bottom of the table there, 5 points separates the bottom 6 clubs. Anyone could have gone down. This man has basically kept us in the league by being the top scorer. He wants to leave now, which I can kind of understand. He scored 16 times in a team that really struggled. But my problem going into the next season is how are we going to improve? Because we need to somehow get in the top 3 to get our first part of this goal into the Bundesliga. The second part of the goal is to fill this team with Japanese players. But as you can see, I'm down to 5 Japanese players now, and none of them really played. And yet again, next season's transfer budget at the minute does not look very promising. Let's see if they sort themselves out for pre-season. Into a new season we go now, our second at this level, and the big question was, would the board back us this time? Well, we have brought in an absolute ton of players there, as you can see, but we've only spent 190,000. That's because they didn't back us. They didn't back us at all. But we have bulked out the squad, and we've got some more Japanese players coming in. Araki, I think, will start quite a lot of games, and he gives me good flexibility. And I brought in on loan Kenta Komatsu, and he will start at centre-back. He's a bit of an upgrade from what I've already got. Now, tactically going into this season, honest to God, it could be anything. I'm going to start with this one, but don't be surprised if this changes throughout. And oh yeah, just 400 to 1 this time. Now I'm going to jump forward quite fast here because despite my worries, we've actually had a pretty good season and we've won way more matches than we did last season. In fact, deep into the season, we're completely safe. We're sitting in 11th, we've got 42 points, we're nowhere near going down, and we're not that far from the promotion places. And once again, top of the goal scoring table is Joel Justin Bieber. In January, we bought even more players in. It looks like a draft, like an NFL draft for a brand new franchise. We brought that many players in. Once again, I tried loads of tactics, the most successful of which was again the 4-2-4. We just seem perfectly suited to that. But we are making progress, so I think the best bet for this league is just to stick in the league, keep bringing the funds in, because now the overall balance is in the positive net. Now, German football has got a lot of money involved in it, so if we can just stick out at this level, keep adding to the squad, and then once the board are convinced that we're going to stay at this level, they might give us a bit of money to get a better quality of player in. After a few more up and down results, we did in fact finish the season in 11th place. Perfectly happy with that. And I've already got my eye on some new players, which will be an upgrade. The only problem is they're going to cost a bit of money. Here's hoping the board back us in the next pre-season. So into the next season we go. It's fair to say we're stabilised at this level. And the board are blooming happy as well, because their overall balance is now 7 million. Surely they're giving us a transfer budget, right? Well, it's better. It's not amazing, but it's definitely better. I did decide, however, to use most of it on free transfers to bulk out this squad and just improve it where we could. Goalkeeper coming in is Hiroshi Fuji, definitely an upgrade. And to play out wide is Mahiro Yoshinega. He gives us a good few options and he's a great physical player. So at the minute the squad is more of a squad of nations with 6 Japanese players involved. To take a bit of pressure off Bieber, I did sign another striker, Dede here, an Ivory Coast player. Early days it seemed to be a good decision. We started really well. We won 4 of our first 6 matches, but then just started to drop off a little bit. What once was a promising looking season ended up with us finishing 9th. It's still our best season yet, but it could have been so much better. This led us into season 11, the season where they did give us a bit of money, and I used the money for a mixture of signings. I mean, this is amazing. I've just signed Diego Maradona for my goalkeeper. I mean, he's going to be good with his hands, right? Naba Menza, Pro Vercelli fans will recognise this man. He comes in for central midfield. A unique baller in Soron Petric from Romania, who can play everywhere down the middle of the pitch, and I'm keeping an eye on those free kick taking abilities and his flair. Probably the most exciting signing is Arturo Jimenez, an 18-year-old Ecuador player who's already capped 5 times with 3 goals. I think he could be the difference here. This is a completely new lineup and I think it's our strongest team yet, and we've got quality backups on the bench, including some decent Japanese footballers. Right dudes, this could be the season. Now, I talked about Jimenez in pre-season. Check him out. He has been electric. He's scored 20 times in the Bundesliga. I can't believe his value hasn't shot through the roof because he is outrageous. At only 18, he's now 19. Wonder kid, 9 goals in 11 for Ecuador. Wow. So he's up front with Dade, the Ivory Coast player. He's doing his bit, 5 in 18, but Jimenez is doing all the goal scoring. And I've got Bieber, Justin Bieber, playing from the right as an inside forward, but he's still banging him in. He's still banging him in. And Diego Maradona's there. He's been injured, but I've got a good backup for him. I've just signed Sachio Tamaki. He might well end up being the #1 goalkeeper when we get our full Japanese team. In fact, I have built now. We've got the most Japanese players we've had probably since 2nd or 3rd season. We've got loads of them now. But more importantly, we're absolutely flying. As you can see from the start of the season, we've lost a couple of games and both of those were 3-4, one to Schalke, one to Dusseldorf. But since then, we've just had the winter break and we are in the shake-up. Here's the league table. We're currently sat in 3rd. That's that playoff spot, which I don't really want. And Schalke look like they're too good. They're flying. So it's going to be between us, Kaiserslautern, Dusseldorf and Hamburg, probably, to try and get that 2nd automatic spot. Now, while all this was going on, we actually had a great cup run as well, and we got all the way to the Pokal quarter-final. That defeat by Freiburg, who are in the Bundesliga, so no disgrace. But the league campaign has been electric. After 32 games, we are right there. We've got a game in hand over Dusseldorf as well, so we've got a chance. And Jimenez, my God, 29 goals in 32 matches, wanted by 15 clubs. I mean, there's no way we can keep him. He's got active interest from Bundesliga teams, and then he's got Saudi teams, he's got Newcastle, PSG. Bad news is he's got a minimum free release clause, domestic clubs of 375. What are they doing? If that was me, I would have pulled the trigger straight away. But we've got a chance here. This has been a slow burn, and I think the technique of just kind of accepting our fate that we're going to just try and battle in the mid-tables for a couple of seasons before a full-on assault when we've got a better squad, it's definitely worked. We haven't spent massive money, 350,000, but we've brought in a lot of players, and there's even some more Japanese players coming in and some quality looking ones as well, of a decent age, 24-year-old there, another 24-year-old. So the actual squad now has got a good amount of Japanese footballers in it. Remember, the overall goal is to get them to the Bundesliga part 1, and then part 2 is to have the entire squad Japanese, but I need to get him in that blooming Bundesliga. But in a truly vital match, we just won 5-1 against Dresden with Jimenez scoring a hat-trick. That's led us to being in the position we're in. We've got 2 games left, one of which is Kaiserslautern and then it's St. Paul. And if you look at it, the table, Kaiserslautern are just beneath us in 4th. That is a bit of a rough running. And it proved to be, despite dominating the match, we go down to Kaiserslautern 1-0. Against St. Pauli, we did the job beating them 3-1. But the bad news for us was Dusseldorf continued to win and we've got to make do with a place in the playoffs. Now, that means that in the playoffs, we will be playing Hertha. So here we go, playoffs, and we've got an away game first, which I'm quite happy with, but after 46 minutes, Hertha went in front. However, 75 minutes gone, we've kept it tight, and then Jimenez is in again. He distracts them, Santos puts it in, very credible 1-1 draw. 11 seasons we've been at this, but then Hertha, in the 32nd minute, put themselves in front. 40 minutes we fire back though, Jimenez involved in absolutely everything, finds Janowski, who finds Dada. It's all square, 76 minutes. Justin Bieber. In a back and forth match, we come up trumps. Beating that Bundesliga team means that Basara Mainz are finally, after 11 seasons, in the Bundesliga next season. I cannot tell you how hard this save has been, but this tactic right here, the season 11 4-2-4, has got the job done. It looks like a basic 4-2-4, doesn't it? Attacking, high defensive line, high press. However, in away matches, nearly every away match, I dropped to cautious and I also got rid of counter press. So I just had counter, still having a high line, but dropping the mentality and going just counter seemed to do the trick. But we've done it, we've got them up. It's taken us an absolute age. Sometimes you forget how long you've been at it, but as you can see, that seems a long time ago, 23-24, when we're in the Sudvest. Then we got ourselves up straight away. 3 seasons in the Regional Liga Sudvest, 2 seasons in the Free Liga, and we just had 4 seasons at this level. But what we did was we did it realistically. We didn't spend what we didn't have. We slowly built and we finally got ourselves to the Bundesliga. And this is where the fun starts, because we've done our first goal getting to the Bundesliga, but now it's time to go full Japanese. Okay, Bundesliga time, and here's the deal. We need to add quality to this squad, but I still want to get this Japanese amount up. So what I've done is I've arranged an absolute heap of future transfers in January for all these Japanese players to join the club. Not only that, but I've completely changed the backroom team. As you can see, nearly all my coaches are now Japanese and my recruitment team. And we're going to need a miracle in the Bundesliga with some huge games on the horizon. That's reflected in the pre-season odds as we've came in at 1,000 to 1. That's our worst odds yet. However, that hasn't stopped local rivals Mainz offering us their manager job. I can't do that. So going into the new season, we're going to use last season's tactic, and the first 11 won't have any Japanese players in. However, the bench is absolutely full of them, and by the time we get to January, when all these players join, some of these boys will jump into the team. So it's a similar approach to what we did in the second division, where we're going to take it easy, go with the strongest team we can, but as soon as we get survival, then we're going to start bringing in the Japanese players, because I don't want to waste too much time. I want to get this squad fully Japanese as soon as possible. Got a lot of work to do, a lot of turnover to do, but we need to stay in this league to do it. So finances are better, and that meant they gave us a decent transfer budget. As you can see though, we haven't spent it. It's been mostly on wages for future transfers. I'm going to give most of the team a go this season. There's a couple of new players in there, such as this player down the left hand side from Romania. He looks like a bit of a step up, doesn't he? And there's another guy in midfield, Radica from Serbia, for a bit of steel. Other than that, there's no way I'm not going to start Jimenez, whose value has shot up to 39 to 55 million. I think that's because his clause is now out of the equation. Remember, he's got that release clause there, but it's only for clubs domestically in a higher division, and we can't get any higher than Bundesliga, so that is out of the equation now, so it doesn't even matter. But yeah, what a signing he was. Free transfer from Ecuador, what a boy. But in honesty, the plan is, if we can have a good season, and he has another good season in this higher level, I want to cash in on him and then get as many Japanese players of quality in as possible. Let's see how we do in our first season in the Bundesliga. A second half goal gave us a first game away victory. But then it got tougher as we played some of the biggest teams in Germany back to back. Like, this is an absolute joke of a start to the season. I mean, who's next? I guess we are 1,000 to 1 for a reason. It wasn't all bad though, because we got a 90th minute winner over Bayern Munich. And really, that's not the worst start to our first Bundesliga season. By the time the winter break comes, we're sitting in 13th. It's only 8 points clear of the relegation zone, so we need to be careful. But now, all my Japanese backups have all joined the club. This is the most Japanese players we've had yet, I think. And one of them, Kodai Seno, who we signed late on in the summer transfer windows, pretty much started every match. Who would have thought all those years ago we'd be doing this to the main team of Mainz? A couple of our Japanese players getting involved here, as we absolutely crushed them 7-1. That result was all part of a really good late surge, which meant we survived in the Bundesliga pretty comfortably with 40 points, 8 points clear, not too bad at all. As I guessed, Jimenez was absolutely fantastic, bagging 22, he's wanted by bigger clubs, but a big bonus was Yuki Komori, who came in January to really help out, and I played him at central defence. So mission accomplished, we are now a solid Bundesliga team. There's only one more thing to do though, and it's to make this entire squad Japanese. It's getting there now, isn't it? There's a load of players there, but look at all the different nationalities. So I've got some serious work to do. And I won't lie, it's actually going to hurt selling Arturo Jimenez. I'm going to get as much money as I can for him. Then with that money, I'm going to transform this squad going into our final season. It's going to have to be fully Japanese. So the final season is about to start and I've nearly done it. I've nearly got a fully Japanese squad. There's just a few players left, 6. One of which is Arturo Jimenez, but I think he's an honorary Japanese player. Reason being is if he doesn't play, I think this team will get relegated. But it's entirely Japanese now, that starting 11 other than Jimenez, because I've managed to get rid of loads of players for 16.5 million. I've actually spent a bit of money as well, 8.5 million. The most we spent was on this player, Hase, who's going to play down the left-hand side, Sasiki, who looks like a really good defensive midfielder, and striker Hatakeyama. Question is now, can this Japanese squad survive in the Bundesliga? The big news is, I'm looking at it now, they didn't actually survive. You know what? We actually kind of flourished. Check it out. Japanese-inspired Bizarre Mans got going with Sasaki. I knew he was going to be a good player. There was key contributions from forward player Zama, all held together by that rock-solid defence of Tamaki, Komori and Kawakami, meant the greatest finish in our young history, finishing 8th just outside of the European places by 1 measly point. And through that season, we only lost the 9 matches. If we just turned one of these draws into a win in this period where we drew 8 out of 9, we would have hit the European spots. So that was easily the hardest save I've ever done. And I know you're going to say carry it on, but we're in 13 seasons now. I don't even know, is it 13, 14, one of those two. So it had to end, otherwise I would have never got this video out. Now, full disclosure, I did say full Japanese squad. And for the most part, we did achieve it. Look at that, there's absolutely tons of them. I don't know how we've got away with it, to be honest, but there is 2 players that are now adopted Japanese players, and I think you'll let me off. The first was Joel Justin Bieber, who got us up through the leagues. He came off the bench most of the time this season. He only started 6 matches, but if it wasn't for his extraordinary contribution, we wouldn't have been in this position, so he stayed. And yeah, Arturo Shunsuke Jimenez, he had to stay as well, didn't he? And he just bagged another 22. If you would like a go at that challenge, the extended German database is on the Steam Workshop. I'll try and find the link for it and stick it down below. But for now, I'm going for a rest because that was blooming hard.